Today, we're gonna make modern techno with AI vocals from the scratch. First, we gotta set the tempo to something fast like 134 BPM and start with a heavy kick. For that, I'll use this kick from my sample pack. To make the kick sound more techno-like, let's turn this to mono and use some slight delay until we hear this smooth rolling clicking sound from the kick. After 8 bars, let's add some open hi-hats. To make the hi-hats groovier, what we can do is adding the hi-hat at this speed right here and turning down the gain a lot. It's really subtle, but it adds a lot of character to the drums. Now let's add some simple close hi-hats. And after another 8 bars, let's add some claps. And we also need some crashes every 8 bars. And another crash on every half note like this. We also need some clap fills to fill in the spaces of the drums, but that lets you use this clap. And to make this blend with the rest of the drums, what we can do is add a lot of reverb and some delay. Now let's create some interesting feels with this. Now let's move on to the bass. We're gonna be using two basses. The first one is the classic techno rumble bass. Making the rumble is really easy. All you gotta do is link the kick to a parallel channel and add a lot of reverb and cut off the highs like this. And since we don't want the rumble to clash with the kick, let's create a separate sidechain channel and sidechain the rumble to the kick using a limiter. And as for the second bass, let's use this preset from my signal pack. Let's simply link this to the sidechain channel, turn this to mono, and since we have the low end covered with the kick and the rumble, let's use EQ to take some of the lows down, so this works as a mid bass. Now, before moving to the other elements, let's make the vocals. For that, we'll be using a studio. But before that, let's structure the vocals within FL Studio because I found that way easier. I got these lyrics that I wrote beforehand, and using FL keys, I'll draw how the vocals need to be moving. Now let's export this as MIDI. Open a studio, say the tempo match with our track, and import the MIDI file like this.
Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da da da. Da 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 da.
Since we already got the MIDI work, let's type in the lyrics like this.
A chasing through the veil of darkness surrounding you. There is a part of the world who you are. See the truth and the lies of this world. And when you're done, go back to your eternal sleep.
Now we can hear some articulation problems with the vocals in some places. We can simply fix that by dragging these parameters around.
I just see through the veil of darkness around
And there's some pitch problems that also needs to be fixed.
who you are. Eternal sleep.
For that, I'll use this pitch brush.
Show the world who you are. Eternal sleep. Your eternal sleep.
And since we wanted the vocals to sound mellow, let's select the entire vocal and take down some of the energy like this.
I just see through the the veil of darkness surrounding you.
Now, to make the vocal sound wider, we can create vocal doubles using this function right here.
I just see through the veil of darkness surrounding you.
And create a backing vocal track using this voice. And let's also add some reverb to this.
I just see through the veil of darkness surrounding you.
So if you guys are interested in A Studio, you can download it using the link in the description. And you can use the discount code DEAN, that's D34N, to get a 5% discount. So if you're interested, make sure to check it out. Now let's export this vocal and jump back to FL Studio. Let's process this vocal by adding some multiband saturations throughout the sound.
I just see through the veil of darkness surrounding you. Tear it apart to show the world who you are.
Some reverb.
I just see through the veil of darkness surrounding you.
Some EQ to take down lows.
I just see through the veil of darkness surrounding you.
And some delay.
I just see through the veil of darkness surrounding you.
Now let's add atmosphere to the track. For that, let's use these pads. Let's use sidechains in. And let's layer it quite like this. I'll just sidechain this like we did with the pads. Now we need a lead to follow along with the vocals. Now let's take off the lows from this. Add some reverb. Some delay. And instead of linking this to our sidechain channel, I'll use Shaper Box to give it a slider sidechaining effect. After the first 8 bars of the drop, let's add a response lead to this. Let's EQ this to get rid of the harsh frequencies. And add some simple reverb. Now at the second half of the drop where the vocal is not playing, let's add some arps. I'll use shaper box to sidechain this. And use EQ to take off some of the highs. Now we also need to make a transition into the second half of the drop. But that, let's reverse this crash. And use a build-up drum for my sample pack. Now since the drop's done, let's move on to the intro and the build-up. Let's start the intro with the kick, the hi-hats and the claps, and use a chopped up simple version of the first lead like this. After 8 bars, let's add the choir and the arps and create a volume automation to introduce the arps like this. Let's also add the vocals. Let's change this vocal by making it unique and adding a cutoff filter. And a lot of reverb. Moving on to the build-up, let's add all the elements except the vocal and the clap fill. And instead of removing the kick, let's use EQ on the kick to create a high pass automation like this. So that way we won't lose the punchiness of the track. Then let's add our other bass and the build-up drums we used earlier. Some risers. And some downlifters. Now let's duplicate this and just change things around at the second half. Let's completely change the build-up by taking away all the drums and the bass and using the vocal like this. Let's move the second drop by 8 bars to create more space for the vocal. And let's also add the lead. So guys, we just finished our track. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel, and let's see our final result.